Hello, artist Charles Wolf here, and today I thought it would be fun to show you how to paint storm clouds, at least how I paint them. It's a very free, kind of easy technique that I think anyone can pick up and just kind of follow along best you can. And it's pretty easy to do, shouldn't be too hard to follow along. I'm going to start by taking my canvas. As you can see, I already have a red layer of gesso on there. This gesso is called Venetian red, and after it has dried, I start with adding a layer of water to my canvas so that I can prep to add in the acrylics. Here I am using regular water added onto the canvas to get it wet so that when I put the acrylic paint on, as you see here, it'll interact with the water and will move and expand and get a nice even coverage as I go across. I'm starting with a blue-black mixture. It's mostly black and with a touch of blue, and then as I'm going along I'm adding more blue on top of the black. I want it to be a nice dark background for the clouds so that when they're a little bit lighter they're really going to shine and appear against the darker background. I am using a combination of a tapping technique to lay in the blue, as well as just sideward strokes and brushwork across from right to left with my black. Now, at the very end of the painting, I think I went back and I added a little dusting of gray on top of this black because it was a little bit too dark. So you can choose to do that or not. But to start out, make sure it's nice and dark. Black, blue mixture. I'm using acrylic paints, as I said, and I'm using like a mid-level brand. I just kind of go with what's available and what's fairly reasonable to use. Okay, I've made a gray mixture. I'm taking some black and adding a ton of white and perhaps even a touch of blue. And I'm just tapping to get that cloud-like effect. I'm going to add a little bit of blue to the brush. Every time I go down to my palette, I'm going to change the mixture slightly. Add a little bit more blue, a little more black, a little more gray, maybe a touch of red, that sort of thing. Now I'm going to do another layer of dark. So I started with the light, went to a mid-tone, and now we're going to add some dark with adding a touch of black to it to make it slightly darker. As you can see, it's starting to streak a little bit, and that's what I want. I want that streaky kind of look from the water and the paint interacting. Now, if you had this flat on a table, it wouldn't work as well. But because I have it upright on an easel, it's going to streak downwards via gravity. I'm going to add a little more dark here, a touch more blue. I'm leaving purposely areas of the light. I don't want it to be pure blocks of color. I want there to be light parts and there to be dark parts. I'm going to go ahead and add white to my original gray mixture. So this is a very, very, very light gray. And then you have the darker gray. As I am applying this highlight color, I'm making sure, again, not to cover up all my darks. Just like before, when I was adding the darks, I didn't need to cover all my lights up. When you go in and add a highlight color, be sure to leave plenty of dark for contrast. These are storm clouds after all, so we need to make sure that they're dark enough. I should mention that I am thinking of the light source being over my right shoulder, so that means if I think about the clouds as three-dimensional objects, if they're facing to the right at all, I'm going to add a highlight to them on that side. Taking my dark gray mix, I'm adding some shadows against these highlights in the crevices between them to really make them stand out. Here, I'm going to add a little more of the cloud light gray highlight mixture. A few little highlights here and there on those clouds where they're facing to the right. A few more. Okay. Just a couple more and we should be almost done. A little more blue, bringing that blue up a little bit. What a wonderful color. I just love it so much. So pretty. Wonderful. Okay, adding a bit more blue to that black above, and it gives some definition to that white layer of clouds, and it really contrasts nicely. On the top left there, I've added a touch of red to my mixture to give it a kind of a pink glow. Top left, if you can see it right between those two big blue clouds I have there, there's that lighter spot right in the middle, and that's a touch of pink there. Okay, just starting to fill in with some more gray. Again, trying not to cover my whites, my light highlight parts, and leaving plenty of spots for the rest of it. I've added in some of the foreground, but now I'm going to take a dry brush, and it's got to be clean, and I'm going to very gently pull horizontal strokes left to right across my clouds. Now I don't want to destroy too much of the shadows, but I don't want them to be so jagged. I want them to be very sort of, I'm trying to think, misty looking, kind of diffused, because this is a storm, so there's not a lot of shining, brilliant light. So if you leave the clouds with those really bright, sharp edges, it will look like sunlight is hitting them, which does not make sense because we have that dark layer of the black, inky blackness above it. It just doesn't work. So this is close to night, if not at night, so there can't be any bright highlights left or the effect will be ruined. A little more of the gray here, just filling in all of the red on that canvas. We don't want any of it showing through too much, so we want to make sure we cover those spots up. Adding a little bit of the gray, not a lot of paint on that brush. And come back in here, add a little bit more of the highlight. This is a light gray color, touch of blue in it. A couple more spots, just tapping still. Same technique for the entire clouds, is just tapping. Okay, really pushing that pink, bringing that pink up a little bit more. And any spot that I have too much, or feel like I have too much gray, I will add another color. A bit of blue here, then some pink, to a gray, to a black, to a dark gray, to a white. You see the process here. I'm trying to vary it a lot so they look fluffy and changing and realistic. Almost done here. Gonna add some dark gray for contrast to the highlight that I just spread out from that pink. And you'll notice right in the center of the canvas I have that lovely blue color in the middle, and that blue is going to start to kind of come forward and shine a little bit more as this goes along. I remembered about halfway through when it dried, the blue sort of stood out to me, and there you can see it. I really reflected it strongly in the water below. Okay, and there's the entire painting when it's finished. I really hope that you enjoyed watching this video and that you learned something from it and can now paint your landscapes with great stormy clouds. Thank you so much for watching. And be sure to check out my art blog, impulsiveartistry.blogspot.com. Have a fantastic creative day.